And we are on Ipac Chat. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm sure folks will be here in just a moment. We're excited to come to you live. We're working out some of the technicals a little bit better today in a different studio today. Excited to be back in Chicago with my co-host, and we got a lot of good stuff lined up for you. Of course, as always, hit the share button. Let us know your thoughts into the comment section as we create a dialogue with one another. Have a great time. And of course, if you want to take a live phone call, you can call us live here, guys. We'll see how those technicals work out at 888-316-IPAC, 888-316-IPAC, and we can do that together. Have you join us live? How are you doing today? You know, I cannot complain. I hope folks can hear us. We're going to check some of these technicals. You got something you want to start us off with today?
You know, I got a little bit of everything.
Good.
So this one tickled me. This one is out of a Northside gas station in Illinois, and a man tried to rob the gas station with a garden hose. Garden hose. That's what his weapon of choice was. It was an assault garden hose, I think. But that one really did tickle me. He also did rob a 15-year-old boy. So it worked on the 15-year-old boy, and he was like, you know what? It's going to work in the gas station. I'm going in there.
And the 15-year-old may not know any better. He's like, hey, man, I'm from Chicago. I'm going to just give it up.
Just give it up. Sure. Yeah. But it didn't work out at the gas station for him.
So where was said garden hose? I mean, did he, a hose or a handle?
The garden hose. So a garden hose. I'm sorry, it's the nozzle.
The nozzle. So was he presenting it as such, or maybe in the pocket? Or,
I wasn't there. So
I always say in the classroom, if somebody approaches you with the finger, inside the coat like that, give me your money. You don't know what's underneath there.
You don't.
I would take it fairly seriously.
Correct.
It's a robbery.
But I mean, well, it is. That one tickled me. Sorry, I forgot the nozzle there. Kind of important. Yeah, the man's got a garden hose wrapped around him.
Out.
Woo! Give me the money.
What's underneath that coat? Is it a 9mm pistol, screwdriver, Snickers bar?
Yeah, exactly, or a Twinkie.
Or a Twinkie. That's right. We got some folks tuning in. I appreciate you guys. It appears as if our camera has this lag, this weird strangeness. I'm assuming the audio is all right.
Okay.
Bear with us, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. If you want to call us live, you may do so at 888-316-IPAC. That could get nice and interesting.
Oh, always.
So, I don't know if you heard, state of Florida, Miami-Dade County, Miami, Florida, has announced a state of emergency due to a lot of riffraff going on during spring break. I don't know if you guys saw some of those videos, but borderline riots breaking out, people jumping in cars, smashing windows.
Really?
And, just young people having a good time, the old American way, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's spring break season, so, okay, they're getting
We've
a little
turned
nuts.
into such a civil society.
Yes. Well, speaking of spring break, actually, there was like an announcement of don't travel to Mexico because there is all sorts of madness going on over there. People are going and they're just not necessarily coming back.
That was odd. Remember, there was a couple of Americans that were killed and injured, right?
Correct.
And the cartel actually, we don't know if it's real. It was reported on the news, but sure. The cartel actually wrote an apology note that they were not the intended targets and they weren't to be the ones that to be killed, and essentially wrote an apology note. I thought that was really strange. I don't know if I can believe that one.
I don't know. Was that written in The Onion or something?
No, on the Babylon Bee, right? No, it was an apology letter. It was our mistake, and we're going to try our best not to.
We killed the wrong people.
Killed the wrong people. So just move on.
The first 20 times, because there was constantly just something. It was, people are missing, and then there was that video, and I saw it, and it was of just two people that they were taking, or two people. Either way though, they say don't go there. But apparently, you're saying we shouldn't even go to Florida right now.
Well,
Isn't Miami had something popping off.
yeah, Miami-Dade County, state of emergency. There's been multiple people killed, a lot of property damage, riot patrol police deployed. Just young people having a good time.
Sure, just having a good time. Trashing the place. Oh man, normally you hear about that in like New Orleans or something.
Yeah, well, it's a spread, and the new normal. State of New York to lower math and English proficiency standards due to poor test results. Are they going to be giving out trophies to everyone? Because everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's CPD, Chicago Police Department, lowering some of them standards too.
Oh dear, yes.
Just give the copper a gun, send him out on the street, and see what happens.
Best of luck.
You gotta lower them. So I think the Chicago Fire Department's doing the same. Just in the
That's
EMS.
right. They are.
I don't know. You gotta be scared of some of those rooks, man.
Please don't pull me over.
Yeah.
There was it was a video. Now, I wonder where exactly. It doesn't say. I don't have the where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, but where this happened, there was some kids who got off a bus and they were walking towards their home. And the mom, or I'm sorry, so it's, I know, the ATF or whatever happened to be driving by. What is it? So they happened to have been driving by and they ended up putting their lights on. And they said to the mom, have those kids come outside. She's like, why? They're teenagers. And she's like, why? They need to come outside. They need to come outside. They're yelling at the mom and everything. And because the kids, they jaywalked. So the mom, and then it ends up,
good to see you, Roman.
They're like, no, I'm not having them come out. And 12 police officers end up being in front of her house. And as it grew and grew, the police were like, well, they were walking suspiciously. And
this was the ATF?
Yes.
Oh, aren't they just a lovely
So the ATF
agency?
was the first ones on site there. They, you see in the ring camera kind of a thing, and the kids, they're walking to the house, and this car just pulls up. And it was a suspicious walking. The way they had carried themselves, as if they had a weapon on them.
Land of the free, home of the brave, guys.
And it's a 12 police
Brave
officers.
police state. And
the mom ended up getting, has to go to court and getting cited, this and that. But she never let her children out. What would you do? What do you do?
So you got a federal agency, the ATF, which is they're monsters, right? And they don't like the way a person is walking suspiciously.
Yeah.
A teen walking suspiciously, and they want to talk to them.
They want
ultimately,
to talk to them.
they can always find a reason.
Sure.
They can always find
Jaywalking.
a reason, and in this case, it was jaywalking.
But they were suspiciously walking.
Oh,
my
folks.
goodness! I'm afraid to walk.
Silence is consent, people.
It's only getting worse.
Yes, it is.
But honestly, what would you do as a parent? I really, when I was watching the story, I was trying to put myself in that mom's position. It's almost like you want to stop. I mean, they're screaming and yelling at her.
Yeah.
Just
I saw it. Now that you mention it, I did see it. And it was pretty obnoxious. I always say handling it on the side of the road, or in that case, unless there's a warrant, I would say, not today. Not today. And I guess the best case to handle that is in a court of law.
Correct. I mean, would you just, no thank you, close the door? I mean, then are they...
Well, am I being arrested?
Okay.
Am I or any of the occupants of the home being arrested? And if not, then...
Think you come again?
Can I leave? Can I leave?
Can I leave?
You're not being detained.
No, you
then the
can't
answer
leave.
is, well, then I'm being detained.
Then I'm being okay.
So these are answers that need to be revealed.
Yeah.
And of course, we have steel barricades outside of Manhattan Criminal Court as we hear chatter that the former president is being indicted and just might be handcuffed and fingerprinted. Isn't it odd that his YouTube channel has been reactivated, and his Facebook and Instagram just days before this event?
Yeah.
I don't know, these chess players are pretty good at what they do.
That they do. Yes, they're constantly, perpetually trying to turn people on people. What's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. And that
Yeah.
just, it's so backwards. And then you're getting told this. And now some people who are kind of like, maybe I do like Trump or, whatever the case may be. And they're like, oh, nope, I don't like him anymore now. He's getting
Yeah.
arrested.
It's real interesting.
It's
And our current president came out with a statement yesterday on Twitter saying it's time for Congress to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. There are no possible recreational justification for having a 100-round mag. Can you think of a reason to have a 100-round mag, guys?
I think
a 30-round mag.
That mom and all the police officers trying to take her kids away.
Maybe 100-round magazines are great for defending against tyranny.
Oh, man.
Maybe.
They want them so bad. They must have magical powers.
Oh, those ARs.
No.
Oh, those vicious assault weapons. They do have magical powers, don't they?
Yes. Next will be the garden nozzles. That'll be banned.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, in England, they had a campaign for a while to they look like a United States Postal Service mailbox. Okay. And they had stickers all over it, and it says only cowards carry knives. Turn in your knives, and they were boxes to.
Did it work?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, crime plummeted. I mean, there were just no stabbings in London anymore. Sarcasm.
Okay. Wow, I can't even think of like that. I would see the box and be like, okay.
I'm gonna take my kitchen knife and
put it in there.
Well, it's just like the gun buyback programs. How can the government buy here in the States, right? How can the government buy something that they never owned? Yeah. With your own tax dollars.
With your own tax dollars, yes. Gotta love that. Tennessee, they are trying to move it from 18 to 21 to carry a firearm. It's either one way or the other. Like half of the states are going from 21 to 18. And then the other half are saying, no, from 18 to 21.
Well, it wasn't long ago in the state of Illinois that a 18 to 21-year-old with a valid FOID card was able to purchase a long gun, whether it be a shotgun or a rifle. And that changed a few years ago. Illinois said, you could serve in the military. You're legally an adult, but you can't exercise your Second Amendment. And now in Illinois, a person must be 21 in order to purchase.
Wow. Mm-hmm. We're split in half kind of a thing. It's a 50-50 here.
What did Abraham Lincoln say? A house divided
yes,
will fall.
That
house
it will.
Divided will fall. And we seem awfully divided.
Yes. Very. It almost seems like there is no gray anymore. It is one side or the other, and we're all just ganging up on each other. And really, what for? Yeah. It's the final result. We're only all hurting ourselves, right?
Yeah, isn't it true?
Yeah. There was you should always be careful. I was a person who enjoyed taking cruise ships. Love taking go on cruises and stuff. And it's always enjoyable. You're on a big floating hotel with a bunch of people, but you don't know who those people are. So I ended up actually coming across where it was a very, a young girl. I want to say she's probably, we'll say 18, flirting with a gentleman. Ha ha ha. Well, she ends up taking his drink and she knocks it over on him. Well, he then chased her and beat the garbage out of her. That was horrible. She had to be airlifted off of the cruise. You see, he's kicking her head and her whole entire body. So you never know. You never know where crazy is. And it's the young man. He's an 18-year-old young man. No, you can't tell what evil looks like.
Sure.
And he got ice cube on him.
In that case, even yesterday when I did that video from downtown Chicago, I was talking about briefly about the use of force. And what I had not said in that video is if the offender is no longer a threat, we cannot continue to use force. So, somebody's going to poke you, slap you. You have the right to defend yourself, right?
Sure.
But once they stop and they're no longer a threat, should you, even though you were the victim in the first place, should you continue to use force? Now you have become the aggressor.
Yes.
And the original aggressor can't start defending themselves. I mean, that's what the statute indicates.
But I mean, being in that situation, being attacked, and then really you got to calm yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Can't let emotions.
Yeah. Don't let it drive you.
In the state of Michigan, congratulations, but yet fight for your right. The state of Michigan is about to reach 800,000 current CPL holders for the first time in its history.
Really?
As of March 1st, 2023, the number was 799,564. They're just hitting that 800,000 concealed carry licensees in the state of Michigan. Congratulations to you. It's good to know that the folks of Michigan are exercising their Second Amendment right, but their elected representatives who represent that 800,000 gun owners disagree with them and are aggressively going after so-called assault weapons, and they're winning.
Really?
They're winning. But congratulations, Michigan.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that number reach 1 million. Because the more gun owners, law-abiding gun owners, exercising their self-defense rights and Second Amendment rights makes a pretty strong number. A right not exercised is a right denied.
Right, correct, yes. You know, also we have again, we got Chicago, a gentleman carjacks a woman. So he gets sentenced, but he only has an electronic device on him.
Oh, nice.
And he made it all the way to Nebraska. I mean,
You mean an ankle monitor doesn't keep somebody staying home?
Exactly. Yeah. No, he didn't.
Nice
stay
long
at home.
trip.
He went all the way to Nebraska. It doesn't. Kind of like catch and release or whatnot. That's happening.
These policies are really enabling the criminals. You know, carjacking, it's a violent crime.
It is.
That's a violent crime that created a victim, and they put an ankle bracelet on them.
Yes.
You know, I remember working in the hood, and there was this fella who, you know, I always mind my own business, but there was this fella, he had an ankle bracelet on. He was probably in his late 50s, early 60s, and he was confined to his unit, and he would give a empty pack of smokes. It was,
Okay.
you know, it was just a carton, empty pack, and he would give it to these children, and he would ask the children, hey, take this package, right, and run it across the street to those guys over there standing on the corner. I looked at him, I said, I know what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. And well, we'll just end the story at that.
So were they also maybe on the other side of the street in ankle bracelets too?
No, they weren't. They were freely roaming around. But
Okay.
man, that sure did piss me off. That
Oh, sure.
you know, you got I guess
child is a
a
mule.
senior muling a child. So the ankle bracelet, you know, though he conformed and stayed within those four walls, he still had the ability to mule children. Unbelievable.
Yes, still do it.
Appalling.
Yes. You know what else is actually appalling though? So deaths in Scotland exceed births by 16,000 in the past year.
You know, didn't we mention that the other day about Japan too?
Yes. It's not.
There's a birth rate deficit
Yes.
happening right now in a lot of Western nations. And I know Japan's not, I don't think Japan's considered Western, but in a lot of Western societies, there is a birth rate deficit. And there is an aging population. And the younger population that can bear children are just not doing it.
Yeah.
And it's happening here in the U.S. as well. We're not quite as bad, but there are. It's going to be problematic a couple generations from now. In fact, I believe Japan is at a point of no return.
Okay.
It's virtually impossible to turn that around, and that will ultimately be a demise of a people, I think.
Correct.
How weird.
That's
Creepy.
right. You know, we were talking about in cultures and stuff like that. You're going to lose that. You know, that's your history kind of a thing. We'll see that. That's our future.
And I know you all love Bill Gates just as much as we love Bill Gates. But did you know that NPR, National Public Radio, took $24.6 million from the Bill Gates Foundation? The Guardian newspaper took $12.9 million from the foundation. And our lovely Alphabet NBC News took $4.3 million. BBC News took 3.6. CNN, the most trusted name in news, CNN took 3.6 million. You know, I mean, that's really generous of the man.
Yeah.
to donate to these global industrial media complex types. I mean, that's just one man's opinion. I
Sure.
could be wrong, but I'm sure that really makes them fair in their reporting of what's going on out there, as well as any reports on what Mr. Gates may be doing.
Yeah. The I also have, this is something where it's always good to know your laws. This is really important. And I enjoy, again, we were talking about the USCCA, and they have like the gun laws map. So that you know what you can do in each state, and how you can defend yourself in each state. Because there's a Georgia father who is visiting his mother-in-law in Tennessee, and there's a man demanding the children. It was so crazy. So this man pulls up to the dad's standing right there, and he goes, "Children, is that your father?" He's like, "Yes, those are my children. What do you want? How can I help you?" And so the man is sitting there, and he goes, "No, children, is that your father?" And the dad turns around, and he goes, "Get inside, go tell go tell grandma and call the police." Well, he's in Tennessee, and I guess he did shoot a warning shot.
Mm-mm-mm.
And I remember we were talking about that, but I don't know what's going on and what Tennessee's laws are. But he's a Georgia man as well, so he may have a different opinion. And then the guy picks up a log, throws it at the dad, and and he refused to leave. Well, essentially, the dad went in, came out, man's still there, and he fatally shot him. But know your laws in what states. That's important.
No
and that's
warning shots.
And
Don't
warning
do
shots.
it.
That's not a good thing.
I do not recommend it.
Yeah.
Out of Chicago on the northwest side.
Yeah.
This is a much funnier story. The alderman is complaining because a family took the section of grass between the the sidewalk and the street and put chicken wire around it. And there are a bunch of chickens in Chicago on these people's front lawn. Some are complaining that it's not going to do very well for the property values. Who wants to wake up to hearing a rooster crow at 4 a.m? Others are saying that the stores are gouging on some of their food prices, and this is essentially a community garden. I think that's really interesting. Things are changing in Chicago. Now, Chicago is starting to look a bit more like Havana, but I was driving the Eisenhower yesterday. Okay. And I avoid the Eisenhower. It's the heroin highway, right? And I was looking around at the CTA platforms and tracks, and it was looking a little rough. It reminded me of like the 80s. There was graffiti everywhere. Everything looked abandoned. And that's
that,
it's just weirdness going on everywhere.
There is. I do have to agree that, Illinois is actually also trying to go for a digital driver's license. Did you hear that?
I don't know how I feel about that.
Everything's digital, man.
At first it's optional.
Sure.
And you don't need the plastic because it's bad for the environment.
Yeah.
You can have it right on your phone, and then maybe it's best to just have it implanted in your skin.
Yeah.
For security and safety and,
sure,
user friendly. That makes sense.
It all
telling you that's what's next.
The real ID, and then now it's like, well, if you want to do this, you have to have the real ID. Before it was optional, but now you got to do this and that. But now it's digital. I don't know. I don't personally. Again, maybe it's our generation. I like my pen and paper.
I think it's important to warn the next generation as well.
Correct.
Be cautious. And the Saudi king invites Iranian president to have a nice joint meeting together. Those chess pieces. I know I keep saying it. Those chess pieces are aligning, and staunch relationships are being forged. People are picking and choosing their sides as we gear up for that beautiful World War III. I just hope we don't have anything to do with it. I just want to say, let the rest of the world do what they want, but it seems like we're heavily involved.
Yes. Well, too, it's also been reporting that, China's giving body armor and weapons. That's still continuing, and that's going on.
Yeah, Xi Jinping just landed in Russia Putin and the Chinese president are meeting as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea what they're going to discuss, but I bet you we're going to see the outcome, and it's coming pretty soon.
But also in the meantime, there's an article where, Mexico launches to appeal in suits against the U.S. about gun makers. They're going to sue the gun makers because of the cartel killing people with the guns.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you guys know, I could be wrong on the name. Wasn't Eric Holder under the Obama administration? They ran a bunch of guns to Mexico, essentially. It was something along those lines. I think it's appalling that another nation is essentially attacking our Second Amendment right now. They're doing it inadvertently through corporations.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, the UN or the WHO or anybody who wants to directly or indirectly go after our Second Amendment rights, we ought to give them the peace sign, of course.
Yes.
And North Korea, talking about World War III and Roman, I don't know. It's looking a little rough. I mean, if it does, it's going to happen, right? Okay. History repeats. There's going to be another world war. Yeah. Let's just hope that it's not nuclear. However, North Korea says that they have recruited 800,000 young people, and they have signed up to fight against the United States. Now, North Korea allegedly recruits 800,000 young people for war. And we just said the great state of Michigan just reached 800,000 concealed carry licensees.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, it's a numbers game, right?
That it is.
I think we'd kick their ass.
But they're happy.
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I have here a 14-year-old robs a bank. Really?
And that's unfortunate.
What life are you living? That it's 14, it's like, you know what? You're going to wake up and say, I'm going to rob a bank today. Really? No.
Well, times are getting rough.
Yeah.
And I think we have seen an increase in crime since 2020. I think that's only going to become exacerbated.
Sure.
And I think that we're going to start seeing more of that. It was in another video I was discussing, if an economic collapse was to happen in the United States, you're going to see children, very young people, early teens, are going to be a lot of the criminals, pickpocketing, robbery, going on your land, stealing your tomatoes. If you're in a country or in Chicago, you got chickens, right? I mean, what's a person going to do? Are they going to use deadly force for every malfeasance?
Oh man.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
There's going to be some emotional that would.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good one. Carjacking in Chirac.
Okay.
Charges were filed against a Chicago man who didn't know how to drive stick shift and couldn't make off with the victim's vehicle. How embarrassing is that? I'm going to go carjack this guy over here. I get him out of the car. I get inside. I start pressing the clutch, thinking it's the brake or maybe to get it started or something. Nothing happening. I bet you he revved that engine, right? I wonder if the car lunged forward. Was it in first gear?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
That's really funny.
That is funny. What a Dumas.
We had the club, to put in the car. Nowadays, if you don't want somebody to steal your car, just stick shift.
Stick.
Nobody knows how to drive stick anymore.
You really don't even see them available. And remember back in the day, you could buy a car if you wanted the cheapest model. You could buy a stick. You don't see, they're still there, but not many of them.
Do you even think the new generations of people who are trying to drive a car can even conceive a stick shift?
Well, my son.
Okay.
My son, 5 years old. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling when that kid turns, 16 or 18 or whenever they make the age 35 to be able to get a driver, it's going to be autonomous.
Oh, okay. So it won't even matter.
Now that I think is sad.
That it is.
If all vehicles go autonomous, remember when you were a kid, 16, and you just started driving, that feeling of being in control and we chose to drive fast or just whatever the case may be. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's a rite of passage, but
It is, and also back to the stick shift though. It's like you're in a sports car, but it's really like nothing fancy.
Well, stick though,
Yeah.
you do have control. You have far more control, even if it's a little four banger.
Exactly.
Having that, you have far more control over the vehicle, no doubt.
And yes, but that's where it's humorous. The stick shift car is turning into like the rotary phone. Give that to a kid. See what they do.
True.
Dial that.
Dial that. Utter confusion.
Correct.
To try to swipe.
Swipe. I find those humorous, actually. You see there's videos like that all the time where it's like, how would you make a phone call at this? It's interesting, because it's
funny.
True. And it's in the innocence of a child. They're like, I don't know. Oh.
Well, our video the entire time has had extreme lag.
Really?
Now, I know that they can hear us fine. And I see that there's still some people tuning in. We appreciate it.
Is it like a bad B movie where like the lips are moving and then the voice?
Yeah, remember those? So it's there's kind of like awkward robotic movements, but they can hear us. That's I don't know why it's happening. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I thought I'd go with it. Maybe it'll work.
Well, we're just gonna have to figure. I mean, our viewers they have a lot of demand from us.
Yes.
I mean, we're gonna get poor ratings out there.
Oh no, we don't want that.
It's funny. People, humans, as time has gone by, we expect to be entertained. And a good quality entertainment. You want good visual, fast movements, a lot of things scrolling by. You ain't getting any of that from here, guys.
That's not
It ain't happening. In fact, where our video is lagged right now. So.
They're going to hear this in a couple minutes. Then they'll laugh.
Yeah. All right. And New York, of course. I just got to love New York. That place is awesome and safe.
Okay.
It's trying to ban guns in places of worship, even if the leaders of that house of worship wish to carry there and allow their folks in attendance to carry, because it's going to reduce shooting in churches. I don't know about you. When I go to church, I carry. You know what I like, though?
What?
I just take much pride out. I'll look around, and I'm like, you went through my class, you went through my class, you went through my class. You're carrying a gun. You're carrying a gun. I'm carrying a gun.
I know you.
I feel really safe.
Correct.
Really, really safe.
It's a 50-50 with that as well, of just, we're all divided. But where somebody sees someone else with a firearm and the mind just goes, that's a bad guy. Or, oh, thank God. You're actually probably a reasonable person and thank you for carrying. And I do feel safe.
Some churches, though, their approach to security, and it's important, but their approach to security is a bit overbearing, we'll say, and almost militant. They got to kind of learn that fine line. I had one guy who took my class. He was a cool guy. He worked on a security team at a church.
Okay.
And we were talking, it was the definition of concealed carry. And I said, I carry in church. And he said, well, if you came into my church and I saw you printing your pistola printing on your side, we'd be having a little talk. And I said, yeah, buddy, cool. I get it. But just because somebody is carrying doesn't mean that they are necessarily the bad guy. And I was given the procedure that essentially you would be surrounded and escorted out. And I'm thinking, that's for somebody who I'm there with my family, So, I do a lot of threat assessments for churches.
Okay.
And it's important to use diplomacy and to be discreet. And you can get the job done without being hostile, right? Unless hostility is required. Hey, when it's required, you go 100%. Don't question yourself. But if it's not required, you got to use discretion to discern, because I would never go back to that place again.
Correct.
If that was to happen.
Yes. Stock market, I don't know about the actual stock market, but the in the firearm industry is actually doing pretty good. Everything seems to be pretty much up. Allen, where it's, again, the parent company of Winchester, they're at $52.04 right now, today, in this moment, or the moment of the lag. We have Ruger is at $55.66.
Okay.
Smith & Wesson, they're at $11.24. And Pow, well, that one's down. That one's at $1.74.
You know, I wish I understood it more. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm not a pro, but you would think with the ammo shortages in Ukraine right now that company would be soaring
Sure.
simply for the fact that they supply the industrial military complex, military, law enforcement, and security, and civilians with ammo. I
Yes.
think they'd be going up, but what do I know? What do I know?
Oh, yeah, everything's in the green. Stock's doing great today.
Well, you know, I
stock
got a
market.
message this morning, somebody, because the gold, I was talking about gold the other day,
Okay.
and the futures were at $2,009. Cool.
Oh.
And somebody messaged me, and, you know, I appreciate all your communication. Like, ha, 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 gold is down today.
Yeah.
This
nice.
is how it works. You know, even when we talk about a market crash or something like that, folks think that it's just going to all happen in one day, you know,
Sure.
and it all evaporates. And that's not how it works. It tends to be a trend. It happens over days, weeks, months, even years, a decline, you know.
Yeah, no,
It was-
that's true. That's right. You said it would be like 2,000 and something. Yeah, it's at 1,969 right now.
It's a little bit down, but better than what it was last week. So
Yes,
funny
exactly.
stuff.
It goes down, but it still rises.
It's
and
on
then
the
it
way
goes down,
up.
and it goes up again.
Hey, I trust God's money.
Well, yeah.
I trust God's money, not that paper fiat stuff, you know,
Oh.
which I don't even have any on me right now.
Pockets are empty.
Yeah, how is money made? Do you guys know? How is actual money
Trees?
created?
Sorry.
That'd go burr, right?
Yeah.
We're in a debt-based system. Money is made
Okay.
when you or I go to a bank, take out a loan.
Okay.
That's how money is made. It's just this idea. It's just this idea. So you want to go to the bank, take out $1 million loan. They grant you that loan. Bingo, $1 million into the system. That is how money is actually made. We are a debt-based system. It's a Ponzi scheme. It can only go on for so long. That's how money's made.
Huh?
It's so simple. It's stupid.
Incorrect. It's a Ponzi scheme, yeah.
Folks, we love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for enduring the lag on this video.
Why?
I am going to try to fix it.
We need a new Billy.
Not going to promise that I will, but I will certainly try to fix it. And we're going to take you from there. Roman, we appreciate you tuning in, sir, and your comments. We are going to be live again tomorrow at 10 a.m.
No lag.
What?
No lag this time.
Well, hopefully with no lag. You know,
Yes.
I'll try my best to figure that out. But either way, we appreciate you, folks.
Yep.
Keep your head on a swivel. Exercise your Second Amendment right, because a right not exercised is a right.
Denied. Sorry.
Denied. That's right.
Didn't think you were going to have me finish that.
We love you. We thank you. We'll be seeing you soon. I think the music's playing.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I think the music's playing. Folks, stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
All right. Bye.